Okay, guys, recording for another Friday Pilates class. So I apologize for the dark viewing and the small space. Um, Still waiting for that sunshine to hit before 7 a.m. Yeah. So it'll be tight quarters for me, but give yourself plenty of room so we can get started here. All right, we'll begin lying down on our back. Just want to check the time. Okay, perfect. So on your back, let's bend the knees and ground the feet to the floor. Knees and feet hip width distance apart. Arms are going to be stretched down long beside, 45 degrees away from the body, palms faced up and shoulders rolling open, backs of shoulders lightly pressed to floor. Reach the crown of your head to the back of your workspace, lengthening your neck, and then softly closing the eyes to go more inward. We'll begin by taking a deep inhale through the nose, and then a long exhale out through the mouth. Big breath in, fill all the way up. Slow exhale, make sure you empty out completely. Inhale, feel the ribs expanding as the lungs fill. Then squeeze the breath out and knit your ribs to midline, pushing the breath out of the body. Light, easy inhale through the nose. Forceful, strong exhale through your mouth. Physically, when you breathe in, the belly will rise and the muscles in your core stay relaxed. Forcing the breath out engages the powerhouse muscles, firms up the belly. Take just the next few moments to stay with this breath, building up the relationship between that and its core as they work hand in hand. Use this time here as well to clear out the mind, right? We set all the other things aside, taking this hour to really be present, mindful, and focused to be with ourselves. We're going to move into some pelvic tilts next. So imagine your pelvis were a bowl of water. On your next inhale, you're going to tip your pelvis back, so as if you're trying to spill water onto your belly button. You're going to feel your tailbone curl up. And then on your exhale, you're going to tilt the pelvis forward as if you're trying to spill water onto the ground in front of you by your heels. Your lower back lifts off the ground. So lower back presses in as you tilt back on the pelvis, spill water to the belly button. And then exhale, tilt forward, spilling water towards your heels. We're just going to do 2 more of these. Tilt back on and inhale, curl the tailbone off the floor. Small arch in your lower back as the pelvis tilts forward. 1 more time. Tilt in on an inhale, water spills into your belly button. Exhale, tip forward, spill water onto the ground in front of you. Excuse me, cat. And then go ahead and find a neutral pelvic position. So the bowl of water is nice and even. Sorry, guys, he's being extra right now. All right, we're going to move into some marching next. Using core strength on an inhale, lift your right foot off the ground, draw your knee towards your chest. And then on your exhale, firm up that belly, slowly guide that right foot back to the ground. We never want to drop it quickly. We always want to have resistance. Left foot comes off the ground, knee pulls in. The shape of my leg doesn't really change. Exhale, return that foot to the floor. Feel the firmness in your belly. Right foot again lifts, knee pulls in, inhale. Exhale. Try to really keep it out of your hip flexors here. Left foot lifts off, the knee pulls in, inhaling. Strong belly as you exhale, return the foot back down. 1 more each. Right foot, inhale, lift off, draw in. Exhale, return back down. 1 last time. Left side, draw in on an inhale. And then return the foot down on the exhale. From here, keep the left foot as it is. Stretch the right leg all the way down onto the floor. We're going to move into almost like a cyclical movement, single-legged. We're using our core strength for stability. So with that right leg stretched out long, on an inhale, draw the knee towards your chest and then lift the leg straight up to the sky, point the toes. On your exhale, begin to lower that right leg back down to the floor, but don't take it down completely. You'd only go as low as a hover. We begin again. The knee draws in, the leg lifts up on a breath in, top of the breath, long to the sky. Exhale, firm up that core and begin to guide that leg downward as if it were moving through molasses. 2 more on this side. The knee pulls in and the leg lifts up on an inhale. Exhale, slow return towards the earth. Use your core for guidance. 1 more time. Knee pulls in as the leg stretches up. Feel that stretch into the hamstring, pointed toes. Exhale, go ahead and take that right leg down to a level that you can maintain to hold there. Belly in firm, leg long, stretch forward with the toes for 3, 2, 1. Good. Rebend the right knee, take your foot to the ground. Wonderful. We'll do the other side. Start with the left leg stretched all the way onto the earth. Then inhale, pull the knee in, lift the leg straight up to the sky, toes are pointed. On the exhale, begin to lower that left leg towards the ground. Again, find a level you can maintain. Draw the knee in, lift the leg up high, inhaling. Exhaling, firm up that belly, control all the way down to hover at best. 2 more. Knee in, leg up on an inhale. All the while making sure that right leg is not moving at all. Keep everything else nice like a statue. Once more. The knee draws in, the leg lifts up high. Exhale, slow, lower, downward to a hover at best, and then just hold the leg suspended in air. Pull the belly in to protect your lower back. 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend the left knee, take your foot to the floor. So these are just subtle core exercises, meaning the physical requirement for the movement isn't as intense, but what is more intense is the mental connection of the awareness of. All right, let's take a breath in, both feet to the floor. Firm up that belly, squeeze a breath out. Exhale, lift feet off ground, both of them draw knees into chest. Core strength again, hands on knees. Begin to draw circles with your legs, both of which moving in the same direction. Massaging out your lower back, the SI joints just above the tailbone. Be mindful of range of motion over speed. And take a moment then to pause. Reverse the direction. Big breaths in, long breaths out. Good. Then bring the legs back into still, nicely centered. Inhale, separate the legs using your hands, open them wide. Exhale, circle the legs around and back in together again. So breathing in, separate and open. Exhale, circle around and draw back in. We're going to do 4 more of these. Inhale, open, working in the mobility of your hips. 3 more. So make sure the hands are guiding you through the entire time. Let's do 2 more of these. Separate, open big. Exhale, circle around and back in. Once more, breath in. Exhale, sweep around. Knees to chest. And then return your feet back to the floor. Knees and feet back to hip width apart. Arms are going to stretch down close beside you. Take a brief pause here. So while I'm pausing, I just want to readjust this light because it's super dark and I apologize. So you want to feel your fingertips stretch down towards your heels. We're going to move into some shoulder mobility next. So with the arms beside you close, on an inhale, lift the arms up to sky, then overhead behind you, the back of your workspace. On your exhale, circle the arms around and bring your arms back beside you. Again, inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, open out as wide as you can. Circle the arms back down at your sides. We're going to add to this now. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, as you sweep the arms back down, lift up head, neck, and shoulders. Ab curl, arms are now at a hover. Return down, breathe in, arms up and overhead. Exhale, sweep down, around, peel up head, neck, and shoulders. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, belly pulls in and it peels you off the ground. Once more, breath in, reach up, reach over. Exhale into an ab curl. Keep the body here. Pump the arms, move nothing else within you. For 10, keep breathing. 9, 8, 7, belly firm. 6, shoulders down. 5, breath big. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then rest. Let it all go. Take your head and tilt it from side to side, right? Turning, ladder, or rotational movement rather. This really spotlighting my head. Okay, next we're going to move into stretching out the outer hips. That's a little bit better, yeah. Right ankle crosses over the left knee, flex the foot, and then push the leg away, space. Any variation of the stretch you'd like to take, just be mindful of your shoulders in relation to your ears, your chin in relation to the chest. If you are offering movement, rocking side to side, make sure it is slow and mindful. We really want to feel how the stretch changes depending upon the shift of our body. Take 3 more rounds of breath here, stretching out the right side. After your 3rd round of breath, bring yourself into stillness if you had movement, and then release the stretch. We'll switch to the other side, left ankle crossed over, flexed foot, pushing leg out, more space. Coming into, again, any variation, and it does not have to be the same thing you did on your other side. If you know your body, you may know that you need something different depending upon, and that's okay. Take your time to shift your attention to your left hip. We often work so much on autopilot that we're not really actually focused on the task at hand. We're just kind of moving through the motion. So just being aware of sensation here and if it's changing or intensifying, depending. 3 more rounds of breath. After that 3rd round, returning back to center if you had movement or have shifted. Let's release the stretch, uncross the legs and lift both of them to the sky. Pointed toes to keep the legs strong. Hold the back of your right leg with both hands. Begin to lower the left leg towards the floor. Again, find a level that you can maintain. Both legs are long and strong. Head can stay grounded. Head and shoulders can also come up for our single straight leg. Pulsing the right leg in on an inhale as you stretch the hamstring. Exhale, use your core strength to switch out your legs. Grabbing the left leg, pulsing in and twice on an inhale. Switch it out on the exhale. So notice that there's movement, of course, of legs, arms, and hands, but then everything else should be very, very quiet, very, very still. So we move slowly to help maintain, but we also make sure that our abdominals are being engaged throughout this movement to help with not moving. No. Breath in, breath out. Let's do this for 4 more cycles of breath. Maybe even some subtle pausing with each pulse you take to really get that deep, deep stretch into the back side of the legs. Couple more rounds of breath here. After your last cycle through, let the legs meet together at the sky. Draw the knees in. If the head was up, returning it down and just recovering here. Take a moment, maybe some movement or stillness if you prefer. Let's go ahead and keep the knees into chest next. Take the arms either down close beside, or if you want a little bit more support and stability, arms can come out to T. Imprint your spine to act as an anchor. Breathe in. Slow extension of both legs away from body on the exhale. Take your time. Use the entire exhale to move out. And then draw the knees back in again on an inhale. Again, extension away, point the toes and reach. Draw the knees back in again on an inhale. If you want more heat, head can be lifted, hands in behind the head and elbows wide. If so, pull the knees towards your forehead when you draw back in. Let's do 3 more. extending away, closer to sky, more modified, closer to ground, more intensified. Breathe in. 3 more. Good. Draw the legs back in again. 2 more times. Reach it out. Point the toes. Inhale in. Once more, extend the legs away. Keep the legs extended. Just lift them to the sky. If your head was elevated, return it to the floor. Take the arms back beside you, and then externally rotate your thighs. So the heels, the inner edges touch, and the toes separate. You create a narrow V with your feet. On a breath in, with toes pointed, separate and straddle the legs. Open as wide as you can. On your exhale, circle the legs down. Bring them together, lift them to the sky. Core strengthener. Inhale, open the legs up as best you can. Exhale, sweep down as far as you'd like, close to the floor, and then lift back up. So again, find a level that you can maintain. We're going to do 2 more in this direction. Open up, breathe in. Sweep down, come together, and find lift. 1 more time. Open the legs on and inhale. Sweep down, bring together, and lift to the sky. Now, let's reverse the direction. Breath in, we're going to lower the legs downward. Find a level for you. Exhale, sweep down, open out. Lift up high, come together. Lowering on an inhale with resistance. Exhale, open out wide, sweep back up, working into your hips. Let's do 2 more. Lowering on an inhale. You can bend the knees a little bit if you're needing here to release the hip flexors. 1 more time. We're going to lower away from body first. Exhale, open out, lift up, come together, and then draw the knees into your chest. Take some thigh stirs again here, opening the legs and pulling them back in, massaging out. Wonderful. All right, when the legs come back together, go ahead and take your feet to the ground. Extend the legs all the way out in front of you. Flex your feet. Push out through the heels, lift your toes to the sky. Arms reach behind you to the back of your workspace. Generally, the ribs start to pop up here, so let's seal the ribs in and imprint the spine. Roll-ups. You may notice I'm going to be cut off a lot for these, so I apologize in advance. Inhale, begin to peel up your arms, your head, your shoulders. Exhale, use all that core strength to pull your body up to seated. Then hinge from the hips and fold over your legs. Let the head become heavy and draw your shoulder blades down your backside. Stack up tall as you breathe in. Exhale, you're tucking the tailbone under, scooping out your belly, rounding out your spine, pushing forward through the heels of your feet, and returning back to the ground 1 vertebra at a time, nice and controlled to the bottom. We start again. Inhale, begin to peel up. Lifting slower than you'd like to. Sit tall for posture and more space between the vertebrae as you fold, getting into that deep stretch. Keep pushing out through the heels of your feet. Stack upright on an inhale. And then roll down slower than you'd like to. We're going to add a little bit more to these, but the beginning part is going to remain the same. So begin movement, inhale, and then about the tips of your shoulder blades. Exhale with power to come up. Sit tall, hinge, and fold. This time on your inhale, you're going to roll to seated, keep the arms stretched out in front of you, and then hover your right leg off the ground. As you exhale, keep that leg hovered, keep it still and steady as you roll back down to the floor. Once you've touched down, reach the arms behind you and then ground that right leg back into the earth. So a little bit more challenging for the core as there's less surface area and support anchoring you down. Let's do that again on the left side. Breath in, start lifting your body. Exhale to continue. Sit up tall. Hinge, fold, stretch. This time you'll stack up, keep the arms in front and lift the left leg off the ground. Hover it, hold it, exhale, tuck your tailbone, feel the energy through both heels of feet still. Roll, 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 slower than you'd like. Keep the chin neutral, chest lifted, chest opened. And then go ahead and return down, head, arms behind, and leg, left leg. All right, let's point the toes now. Keep here. So we are going to be working with lifting upper half of body and lower half of body simultaneously. So you want to imagine that you're divided into two right at your hips, right? Upper half, lower half. We are going to be working though one leg at a time. So we're going to alternate the leg movement, but the upper body is going to lift throughout each turn. You want the lift of the leg and the lift of your upper body to be as equal as possible. So the leg isn't going to lift up really high and the upper body barely, right? So trying to get them as even as you can and try to eliminate momentum as best you can. Toes pointed, legs are externally rotated, arms are overhead. We will start with the right leg. So remember, upper half, lower half, simultaneous and equal movement. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift upper and lower half off the ground. Pull up, reach the arms forward to the foot. So notice here, right, my leg isn't super high, my body isn't down really low. That would be uneven. Trying to get as equal as you can. Then come back down again on your breath in. Move to the other side, left leg lifting, upper body lifting, arms pull forward a bit, reach towards that foot, but don't twist the body, keep it centered. Come back down again on your inhale. Continue to alternate, right side again. Use your core strength to lift up and then come back down. Think of your heart reaching straight up to the sky to pull you upright. And then come back down again, breathe in. 2 more each side, right leg. And then come back down. It helps to look upward towards the ceiling the whole time. Good, bring it back down, breathe in. 1 more each. Make sure the toes stay pointed, the legs stay strong. Helps to lift up and keep control. 1 last time, left side. Good. And then go ahead and lower back down to the ground. Arms beside you. Take your legs to tabletop from here. So that was almost like a single-sided teaser. We're going to now come into full teaser. So we are going to start in a modified variation. We'll build up from there. Note that you don't have to continue to climb up the ladder in terms of the progression of. You can choose to stay modified the entire time if you like. So with legs at tabletop, we'll start with arms overhead. On an inhale, lift arms, head, and shoulders. Pull arms forward, clasp behind your legs. Exhale, use a bit of your hand strength to pull your upper body up. Straighten out the legs, lift your chest up, shoulders back, and then extend the arms forward. Hold here, breathe in. Exhale, round your spine, roll back down, rebend the knees to tabletop, and lift the arms overhead. We'll do that again, modified. Inhale, start lifting, arms pull forward, clasp behind the legs. Exhale, core strength, arm strength to pull you up, extend the legs, look towards sky, extend the arms forward, hold, inhale. Exhale, round spine, rebend the knees, tabletop, arms overhead. Now, we're gonna build upon this. Same movement, this time we're not going to clasp behind the legs. We're going to do this hands free, more core strength needed. Again, inhale, start lifting up. Extend legs forward, lift heart up, flatten your back, pull the arms forward, hold here, breathe in. You can have a bend in your knees still if you're needing, right? Exhale, roll back down. So the legs can essentially stay at 90. You'll be in almost like a boat pose instead. Breath in, start your lift. Flatten out that back, lift the heart up, breathe in, hold. Roll back down again. Exhale, this time draw the knees all the way into your chest. Give yourself a hug, rock gently side to side. So that was a step above modified. We're going to do the full-on version, or I'm going to offer rather the full-on version next. Your choice whether you stay where you were or continue to build upon. This one's, of course, much more challenging for your core. So just be aware if you're feeling any sort of discomfort or pain in your lower back, please, please, please pull back away and do a more modified variation. All right, so just like the single leg teasers we just did earlier, concept, we're split at the hips from upper and lower move simultaneously and as equally as we can. This time both legs will move at the same time. Arms overhead, take an inhale. Exhale, pull, 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 pull up. Hold here in teaser point, breathe in. And then upper half, lower half, simultaneously come back down to the ground. Again, start a little bit of a lift on your inhale. Exhale, come up. Stay here, breathe in. And then exhale, take it back down. Control, control, control. We'll do that one more time. Breath in, start your movement. Breathe in. And then come back down. After your half, bend your knees, ground your feet to the floor, and take your feet out a little bit wider than shoulder width, knees the same. Arms are either cactus out to sides or open out to T. Windshield wiper with your legs. Drop to the right, lift, drop to the left and lift. So alternating sides. You can inhale one direction, exhale over the other. Just massaging out those hip flexors and loosening up your lower back. Good, and then start to bring the legs back to center, and then bring the feet back to hip width, knees back to hip width, and then take the arms beside you. I want us to work into a little bit of a bridge sequence next. Pardon me, I just want to check on the time. Beautiful, plenty of time. Arms are close in. You want to feel the backs of your arms, the triceps anchored to the floor, your feet grounded down. Also make sure here that the heels are underneath your knees, right? So we don't want the heels to be in too close to our glutes. We don't want the feet to be too far away. That's going to make it really challenging to lift your hips into bridge. So a nice sweet spot is heels underneath the knees. Here we go. Breath in, feet press down, arms press in. Exhale, lifting hips up, but keeping the ribs sealed down. So firming of the belly. Stay in your bridge when you inhale. Round the spine and roll back down one vertebra at a time, exhaling back to the earth. So spinal articulation. Breath in, prepare, press down, exhale, lift up. Imagine a small ball between your knees you are hugging onto lightly. Squeeze your glutes, and then inhale, roll back down to the floor again. We're going to do 4 more of these. Exhale, lift. And roll back down. Make sure there's energy between the inner thighs. Exhale, arms and feet press down, hips come up, ribs stay sealed in. Roll back down, breathe in. We've got 2 more left to go. Exhale, the shoulder blades still anchored to the floor. Roll back down on an inhale. One last time. Exhale, press the hips up into a bridge, and let's stay here in bridge. On an inhale, take those heels, prop them up over the balls of your feet, lift up high. On your exhale, return the heels down, but don't let your hips sink. Feel the hips press higher to sky. Again, heels up on an inhale, strengthening calves and hammies. Exhale, bring the heels down, but feel the hips push up a little bit higher. Let's do 2 more of these. Heels up on a breath in. The heels come down, but the hips should not follow. Yeah, tempting as it is, right? Heels up on an inhale, keep the heels up, pulse the hips to sky. For 3, yes, 2, 1, and then soften, round, roll down, heels to the floor, stretch, and stretch. Lifting one foot off the ground, straighten the leg to sky, and then returning the foot to the floor. Just get a little, length back into those hamstrings that we just worked out. Wonderful. Okay, now, second part of our bridge, we're going to take the feet together all the way in. Ankles touch, knees touch, inner thighs touch. So imagine you had a strip of super glue that you placed between the legs and they are stuck together. There is no separating them. So keeping the connection, particularly in your knees, is really important. The hip lift is going to be smaller since the legs are close together, and that's going to help protect your lower back. Adduction, inner thigh strengthener. Take an inhale. Exhale, squeeze the legs tight, lift the hips up. Do not let the knees separate. Roll back down on your inhale. Make sure the feet are still touching here as well. Exhale, Squeeze legs tight, lift hips, roll back down on your inhale. We're doing 4 more of these. 4, and roll back down. 3 more times. And then roll it back to the earth. 2 more times, as if you're holding a dime between the knees. We don't want that dime to slip through. Roll back down, breathe in 1 last time. Squeeze legs, lift hips, hold the lift of the hips, and then pulse the hips to sky. For 5, squeeze tight. 4, keep breathing. 3, keep squeezing. 2, almost there. 1, and then roll it back down again. This time, lift the feet off ground, knees to chest. Take the soles of your feet together. Hold on to outer edges of feet or ankles. Pull the feet towards your body. Push the knees away from the body. Inner thigh stretch. Wonderful. Release that stretch. Take your feet back to the ground, knees bent. So bringing the knees and feet back to hip width apart, narrow stance. Then you're going to keep the feet that spacing. You're just going to take the knees out slightly wider than shoulder width. Now, what tends to happen here with our feet when we open the knees is that 2 things may happen. The inner edges of your feet tend to peel off the ground. We want those to press in. Also, the feet tend to externally rotate. I want the feet to remain parallel. So feet narrow, knees wide. This is to strengthen the outer hips and the glutes. Arms beside you. Press down, inhale. Exhale, inner edges of feet anchor down to the floor as the hips come up and the knees stay wide. Feeling it along the outside here. Abduction. Go ahead and roll back down again. Breathe in. Exhale, peel up and lift. Squeeze the glutes on the way up. Roll back down on your inhale. We're doing 4 more of these. 4. And roll back down. 3 more times. And then bring it back down. Twice more. Remember, edges of feet, the insides of them, press down, knees wide, hips up. Roll back down, breathe in. 1 last time. Press up, hold the lift of your hips. The hips will not move. It's your knees pulsing outward, outward, outward. Hips press higher to the sky. For 5, feet planted. 4, hips up. 3, pulsing up. 2, breathing. 1, and then bring the knees back to hip width. Soften the ribs, roll back down. And then draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a rock, side to side. Okay. All right, let's rock now forward and back, up and down the spine until you rock yourself all the way up to seated. From seated, I'm just going to take a quarter turn, so facing the camera. You can stay as you are, but you'll have your legs lengthened out in front of you, feet flexed. Now you may need a little bend in the knees to allow for release of hip flexors and to be able to sit all the way upright. That's okay. Just make sure that the legs are still hugged closely in. What I'd like us to do here next is kind of work into and strengthen the upper back muscles. I know things have changed since this whole pandemic in terms of our work environment, but we could still be very rounded forward. If we're at a desk or a computer all day, we get this hunched posture, which tightens up the chest muscles and which weakens the back muscles. So in order to improve that posture, we have to think about stretching and opening up the front body and then strengthening the back body, which is what we're going to do next. So arms are going to extend out in front of you, palms face down, and then squeeze the fingertips together so everything is like stiff like a board. Make sure the shoulders didn't hike up to your ears. So you want already the shoulder blades to slide down your back, and you're already going to feel the heart lift up. You're going to maintain that posture, pull the belly in and up. On a breath in, you're going to bend your elbows, pull the elbows back, hug between the shoulder blades. Keep the elbows as they are on your exhale. Just pull the fingertips up to the sky so your palms face forward. Cactus position with your arms. Then on an inhale, press the palms down to the floor, but keep the hands only to shoulder level. Exhale, stretch the arms out in front of you. We're gonna do that a few more times. This time, let's spread the fingers, shall we? Inhale, bend elbows, pull back, squeeze between the shoulder blades. Keep the elbows where they are. Exhale, just pull the fingertips up to the sky. Press down on an inhale. Extend forward on the exhale. We're gonna do 4 more of these. Breath in, pull, lift, exhale. Press palms down, breathe in. Extend out in front of you, breath out. Again, pull back. Keep the shape of your arms. That doesn't change. It's just like this external rotation to roll open. Internal rotation to press down. Extend arms forward. 2 more times. Belly tight, chest up. Pull back. Inhale. Exhale, press up. Inhale, push down. Exhale, reach forward. 1 more time. Pull back. Inhale. Pull up. Exhale. Pull down. Breath in. Press forward. And then melt over the legs. Let your head relax, your arms and your feet relax. Breathe into the back body. Deep inhales. Deep exhales. Again, take a deep breath in. Let's roll up to seated on the breath out. Once you've stacked all the way back up again, flex your feet once more. Hug your legs together again. Create a genie shape with your arms. So one arm stacked on top of the other, directly out in front of you. Chest up, shoulder blades down. This is more for the waistline. Take an inhale, get a bit taller out through the crown of your head. Exhale, torso strength, twist to your right. Don't let your legs move and don't let the arms pull at all. They stay exactly as they should, directly in front of your chest. Inhale to center. Rotate to your left, getting taller as you twist. Eyes stay at the horizon. Feel this in your waistline, your obliques. Come back through center, breathe in. Again, to your right. Make sure the arms don't do anything. They just follow. Center on an inhale. Take it over to your left. Breathing out. Breathing into center. Let's do 1 more to each. If your legs are shifting, you've gone too far. Keep them steady. That means the pelvis also does not shift. Center on an inhale. 1 last time. Exhale, chest up, shoulder blades down, eyes at horizon, core firmed in. Come back through center. And then gently release forward to relax. Big inhales. Big exhales. Let's do that again. Breath in. Let's roll up to seated on the breath out. Okay. So I had mentioned about, of course, this strengthening of the back body, stretching out the front body. Let's stretch the front body out now next. So let's swing the legs around and transition onto the stomach. We'll start with the stretch and then we'll work into strengthening more into our back body. So once you're on your stomach, I'll turn this way. It's a little bit easier. Not so concerned about my bottom half, just my upper half. So once you're on your stomach, I want you to have the hands just outside the shoulders. And then for a moment here, I want you to look over your right shoulder. And I just want you to take that right arm and stretch it directly out to its side. So you're looking over the shoulder now so that you can make sure the arm doesn't lift up any higher or reach down any lower. So directly out by the shoulder. Once the arm is directly out to the side, turn to look over your left shoulder. Rest the head down and tip the fingers of your left hand. You're going to push off the fingertips and roll onto your right side body, stacking legs and hips. Now, make sure that the right palm is faced down and the fingers are spread and you're pressing the palm of your hand into the floor firm. Some options here, keeping a stack of your body, maybe plenty of a stretch for that right shoulder, the front of it. If you're wanting more, you can take your left leg, pull it behind you and touch the foot to the ground. That just pulls more weight back. You could also do that same thing, but with the left knee bent and the foot grounded. And then you'll think about that knee pulling back on you. And we're just breathing into and stretching out the right pectoral and the front of the shoulder. The sun is starting to rise now. Wonderful. Let's take 1 more breath in. And then on your exhale, go ahead and gently roll back onto your stomach. Once you've landed on the stomach, you're going to go ahead and slide the right hand back to outside of shoulder. We're already looking over your left shoulder, so go ahead and straighten the arm directly out to its side. Again, make sure it's not crooked at all. Once there, you're looking over your right shoulder, you're tenting the fingers, you're pushing off fingertips, and you're rolling onto your left side body. And again, you could stay stacked for this, or your right leg can pull back, touching foot to the floor, or the knee could be bent, foot to the floor. And then you'll just kind of feel the top or the upper, the right side of you kind of pull back more, which brings more sensation to the stretch on your left shoulder and chest. And just breathe into that space. Remember, the left arm isn't dead weighted. It is stretched out. It is reaching, especially through the fingertips. Wonderful. And then go ahead, slowly return back onto your stomach. Be very gentle when you release out of the stretch. I'm going to flip around again while you guys do that. All right, so now you're going to lie stomach side down. Arms reaching out in front of you. Legs stretched behind you. You want your hands shoulder width, your feet shoulder width, forehead to the ground. Press your hips to the floor. Take an inhale. Just the arms, lift them off the ground, exhale. Take them back to the ground again, breathe in. So this lift is not all that big. Exhale, lift the arms up, just the arms. And then take them back down again, breathe in. We're just going to do 2 more of these. So make sure the forehead stays grounded and exhale, just the arms come up. Take them down on an inhale. One last time, exhale, just arms find their lift. And then return the arms back down. Now let's add to this. Hips are still your anchor. On your exhale now, arms, head, and chest all come up as one unit. And then lower back down on your inhale. So make sure your arms continue to frame your ears. Exhale, arms, head, and heart come up, look down to the floor. And then lower. So this is strengthening more into the middle back muscles. 2 more. Return down, breathe in. One last time, slow pull up, hips press to the earth. And then return to the ground. Adding to this, now with your next exhale, everything comes off the ground. Arms, head, heart, and legs. Take it back down on your inhale. Again, exhale, arms, head, heart, legs come up. Squeeze into those glutes, strengthening to the lower back. Bring it down, breathe in. We've got 2 more left to go. Good, release nice and slow with control. One last time, find lift, but then keep the lift and move right into swimming. Paddle the arms and legs, but keep your head steady, your torso steady, and your chest up. 4, 5, 4, keep on paddling. 3, keep on reaching. 2, 1, and then rest. Cross the arms over one another, rest your forehead to the forearms. Lift your feet to the sky, windshield wiper your legs, whether it's crisscross or side to side movement. And then stretch the legs behind you, hug them together, hands underneath your shoulders. You're going to very slowly push back into a closed-legged child's pose. We're stretching into the lower back. So take an inhale, send this down towards your tailbone. And then exhale, let it go. Again, deep inhale to the back body. Deep exhale. Once more. And then exhale, let it release. From here, take your right arm, thread it underneath your left, look to the left. And if you want a bit more, lift your hips to the sky to bring more weight onto that arm, which will stretch more into the upper back and the back of your shoulder. Remember to keep this arm active always. It's not just limp and dead weight, because then we lose a bit of the stretch. So keep reaching across the ground. Try to pull your heart further away from your right fingertips. Yeah. Good, then go ahead, let that unwind. Switch to the other side, left arm threading underneath, looking to the right. Keep that left arm active, pull the heart away from fingertips, let the head rest down. Good, and then go ahead and unravel. And let's move into some side leg work next. So let's all start lying on our right side to begin. Right side. Took me a second there. I was going to debate switching. All right. Right side, straight line with body, stacked up body, left hand to hip, elbow, always points directly up to the sky. If during the sequence you start to feel the elbow shift, that's an indicator that generally speaking, the top half of the body has kind of fallen back or leaned too far forward. So just being aware of that. Flex both feet. Right leg is your anchor, push it down. Top leg is your starter, hover it, internally rotate it, and then look straight ahead. Exhale, you're gonna lift that left leg up a bit higher using hip strength. And then hover the leg when you breathe in. Use your core here. As the leg pulls up, the belly should firm, firm, firm. Hover the leg on and inhale. 2 more, just like this. Slow pull up. Return to hover. Breathe in. 1 more time. Lift leg up slow. Use hip strength. 0 momentum. Take the leg back to hover. Now from here, take the left leg, draw it out in front of you a bit, but don't let your elbow fall back. Internally rotate still and lift the leg up again. A little bit more core strength here to keep you stabilized. Use that bottom leg even more. Again, lift the left leg. And then hover the leg. We're only doing 2 more of these. Slow pull up. Right, upper body steady, strong and still. 1 more time. Leg lifts up. Take it to hover. Bring the leg back in line with body. Notice if your upper body shifted. If it had, how can you control that for the next time? Pull the leg slightly behind you. Now, generally, our chest falls forward, so keep the chest propped up nice. Internally rotate it still with the leg and lift the leg behind you. And then back to hover. Strengthens a bit more into the glute and outer hip region. Pull up slow. And then back to hover. 2 more of these. Slow lift. Back down to hover. 1 more time. Leg pulls up. This time let's take the leg only halfway back down so the legs are about shoulder width distance apart. And then bring that left leg back in line with everything else. Breathing in now, bend the left knee, start to slowly pull the knee out in front. Again, keep everything in the upper body stacked and steady. Press it away. Pull the knee in. A lot of core strength here, push it out. We're doing 4 more of these. 4. Good, press. Try to keep that knee or maintain hip level with the knee throughout. So when the leg draws in, the knee doesn't sink nor does it lift. Push it out. 2 more times. Knee draws in. Leg drives out. 1 last time. Keep the upper body like a statue as best you can. Push it away from the body. Hold here. Then pulse, pulse, pulse. 3, 2, yowza. 1. Good. And slowly take the leg back down. Once it has, bend the knee to the floor in front. Take a moment to tap out the hip if you wish. Yeah, so a lot of kind of burning sensation right towards the end. Our hips don't take a lot to get the work done. Let me just, check the time. This is how much I can do on this side. All right, wonderful. Let's go ahead and rest our head onto our right arm all the way down. Reach the left arm up to the sky, palm faces forward, fingers spread out, and shoulder plugs down. Point your toes, squeeze the legs tight. Take an inhale, and then use your left side body on the exhale to lift up the legs, lift up the head off the ground. That arm, the left arm, the lifted one, does not pull down. It stays nice and vertical. Bring it down to the floor again on an inhale. Now, on your exhales, you lift the head and lift the legs. You are not using your bottom arm. That bottom arm is nice and relaxed on the ground. Lower on an inhale. All the strength is coming from your side body. We're doing 4 more. 4. And return back down. 3 more. Good. Release it. 2 more times. Lift. Good. Release. Once more. Lifting of head, lifting of legs, and then take that right arm off the ground. Be okay with the instability of your body. Breathe. 3. Keep tight. 2. Keep lifted. 1. Good. And then slowly take it all down to the floor. So especially with that last one, when that bottom arm is lifted, of course, that loses more surface area and support. That's why we're wobbly. However, if you think during that time of stiffening and strengthening up the lifted arms, stiffening and strengthening up the legs, it's not all this, right? It's other parts of the body that when you engage the muscles, they firm in, they hold you. Therefore, it can help stabilize you a little bit more. All right. Okay, let's do the other side next. So, however it's easiest for you to transition onto your left side. So the sky in the background, nice and pretty. Looks like it's going to be kind of a clear day. Probably not though. All right, guys. Stacked up, straight line, hand to hip, elbow to sky. I'm going to move up a bit. Okay. Flex your feet. Bottom leg pushes down, top leg hovers, internally rotated. When you exhale, you're lifting that right leg up higher and then taking it to hover. Just watch that elbow, adjust if needed. Lift the leg and keep that internal rotation of. Hover the leg, breathing in. We're going to do, I think just 2 more, right? Yeah, lift, push the heel of your foot. Hover the leg, don't forget about your core. So this time when the leg lifts, feel your navel pull back towards your spine. Draw it back and then take the leg back to hover. Now from here, very slowly, pull the leg out in front of you a bit. So watch that your upper body doesn't fall back. Internal rotation of leg and then lift it again on the exhale. Hover when you breathe in. Really use that bottom leg for extra support here. Lift the leg. It's going to help to balance you out. Hover and a little bit more core strength for this one. 2 more times. Pulling up. Coming back to hover. Once more, slow lift of leg. Back to hover. Now, leg comes back in line with body. Notice if your upper half shifted. If it had, how can we prevent it for next time? Then take that right leg, reach it slightly back behind you. So many things in the way, sorry guys. But again, make sure that your upper body didn't lean forward. And then we lift the leg up behind us and then back to hover. Again, this is more outer hip and glute strengthening. Lift. Come back to hover. 2 more times. Watch that elbow, adjust if you need to. Come back to hover 1 more time. Leg lifting. Taking it now just halfway back down. From there, pull the leg forward so it's in line with everything else. On an inhale, bend the knee. Slowly pull the knee towards your body. Watch your upper half and then press away. Again, drawing the leg in, make sure the knee stays level with your hip and then push it away. 4 more of these. 4. Bottom leg gets a workout. Yeah, guys. Push it out. 3 more. Pull in, belly strong, belly strong, belly strong. Press out. Watch that elbow. 2 more times. Knee in. Drive out. Last time here, guys. Knee draws in. Push it away. Keep the leg lengthened and pulse it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the leg down slow. Whew. Bend the knee to the floor in front. Tap out the hip. A lot of hip muscles being worked here. Okay. I want to move into our waistline next. So let's go ahead and stretch the body long again. Rest onto the left arm now. Reach the right arm to sky. Spread the fingers, palm forward. Plug the shoulder in. Pointed toes, legs locked together tight. Breathe in. On your exhale, lift your head, lift your legs off the ground. And then come down on your breath in. You may notice one side is different than the other. For me, this is more my trickier side, exhale. So my lift isn't all that big. And then come down again, breathe, and we're gonna do 4 more of these. Remember, your left arm is not being used here. Lower on an inhale. I have to bend my knees because I've got stuff in the way, but you can always bend your knees if you're really fighting balance and you want to work on really focusing more on the strengthening of the obliques. 2 more times as you're lifting up, feel that right hand reach straight up to the sky. Come down on your inhale. This last one here, head comes up, legs come up. Remember, stiffen everything. That lifted arm, those legs, bottom arm comes off the ground, and we might be wobbly. That's okay. Keep your lift up. 3, keep your breath. 2, 1, and then gently return back to the floor. Recover. Let's roll onto our back for a moment, and let's get a nice juicy stretch for the hips. Lying on your back, take your right leg and cross it over your left leg. So thigh over thigh, knees draw in, hold on to the legs where you can, either below knees, shins, ankles, or outer edges of feet. Pull the legs into your body, but drop the tailbone into the floor and breathe into that right hip. Nice, good stretch here. Good, and then gently let that stretch release. Uncross and switch to the other side, left leg over right. Knees to body, either below knees, shins, ankles, or outer edges of feet we hold on to with our hands. Equally pull back on both legs, closer to body, but then drop the tailbone to the ground. Push-pull energy. Breathe into the left hip. Feel sensation. And gently release the stretch. Uncross the legs, knees to chest, hands on knees. And lift up the head and neck. Look down towards your belly button. From here, you're going to slowly begin to rock forward and back. Start small. You're going to use your core strength to increase the size of your rocking movement until you can eventually rock all the way to seated. It might take a while because, again, we don't want to use so much momentum, rather more core strength to pull us up higher, higher, higher. Good, until you can come up to seated. Once you are at seated, crossing the legs. Sitting up tall, arms down beside you, tented fingers to the floor, and then a step off with the hands so the arms are out 45 degrees. Take your right arm on an inhale, reach it straight up to the sky. As you exhale, stretch over to your left side. Feel the ribs shift a little bit over to the right. Then breathe into your right side body, inhaling. Firm up that belly, exhale, slowly stack back up and let that arm float down. Other side, reach up high, breathe in. Stretch over to your right side on the exhale, feel the ribs push off to the left. Then inhale into that left side body. Firm up the belly, exhale, stack up tall, let the arm float down. We're going to do 1 more to each. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Inhale into the right side. Firm up the core, stack back up. Float the arm down. Once more, left arm reaching up, breathing in. Exhaling over to the right. Inhale into the left side. And exhale, firm belly, stack tall, let the arm float back beside you. Once that arm has lowered, turn both palms to face up. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky, get long in the side bodies. Touch the hands above you and exhale, bring the hands within you to heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Breathe in, reach down, out, and lift up. Connect above and exhale, pull within yourself, heart space. 1 last time, breathe in. Gather the energy between the arms, hold that energy above you, and then bring that energy within yourself. Keep the hands at heart, bring your chin to your chest, close the eyes and bow in. Thanking yourself for the time you've carved out of your day to be here, for the dedication and motivation you have to your health and well-being, and for taking this time to really connect to yourself, to understand your body a little bit more, and to always keeping it moving forever. Thank you guys for a wonderful Friday practice. Enjoy it when you can. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys all next week. Thanks so much. Wonderful job, I'm sure. Again, sorry about the darkness, but I'm hoping you could still do all that good work. So I'll see you next week. Enjoy.